going on, guys? Anakin back again today for my 20th MCU review for the 20th MCU movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and we have Ant-Man and the Wasp. I'm gonna say this right now, I think that this movie is so much fun. I love the Ant-Man movies, but I think a common trend with both of the Ant-Man movies is that I particularly feel like there's generally nothing wrong with them. You can watch my first review for the Ant-Man movie that I did a couple months back, and you can see that, like, with that movie, I have a lot of this entire movie that I thought was really good. I feel like that's one of the very few movies that I can look at and say it's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing that I really have a problem with. But it doesn't mean it's my favorite, and it doesn't mean that it's better than the other ones. I still think there are way better superhero movies and way better Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, especially all of these except that one, that are better. But with this one, I think this one is a little bit harder to gauge on, because there are things that I love about it that I love more than the first one, but there are also things that I feel like I think the first one did better, which is weird because I feel like I just personally, I really love the dad and daughter relationships and mirroring in the first one, with whether it's Hope and Michael Douglas, not Michael Douglas, with Hank Pym, and then you have Scott and Cassie. I really love that dynamic, and like of what are you willing to do to like keep your family safe or to keep your daughter safe. I really love that. Or what lengths are you willing to go? I really love that. I really loved what every single character in this movie though was able to do, is that they were able to pick up exactly where the last movie went off, whether it was with Hank and Janet, yeah, sure, whether it's seeing their relationship or seeing Hank and Pope searching for her, and then you see right up, even if it's not right after Ant-Man, but it's right after Civil War, and you see Scott dealing with the consequences of going to help Captain America, and you see how Cassie's dealing with it, and you see their relationship has grown a lot. And I love it whenever movies do this, because I think it's super funny that when people like see on screen depictions of a blended family of like the stepdad, and then like you're telling me a stepdad would never hug their biological stepdaughter's dad and like be so happy with it. That would never happen, but it's just always funny to see that, because it's like you look at the screen like that would never happen, but it's still funny. But what I really do love about this movie is the action is way better. The action, I think the way they did it, with the way how clever they were with the use of, whether it's you making things big, where you make them big, small. I think the humor is another thing that I think in the beginning, I think it was weird, because I was like, why isn't this as funny as I feel like it should be, or as I remember the first one being like right off the bat. But that's because this one started out with Louise, but it didn't go like, my dad got deported, but I got the van. Like, it didn't start out with that, but then it got like, when we really got in deep with the movie, it got so much funnier. Seriously, the one part in this entire movie that I actually saw in a trailer that had me laughing so hard was, and I think I was gonna watch Incredibles, and they played the trailer, the regular trailer, but in the middle of it, it stopped for what the original trailer was like, and then it showed when he shrinked down, and he shrinks down to like the size of like a 6-year-old, and was just like half of his body, and it's just like he looks like a little tiny kid, and then like the way that gag just went going and going and going when he's like trying to jump and he can't get it, it was too funny. That seriously was one of the funniest things I've ever seen it, and it made me laugh so hard in the theater, and it was even better to see it actually on screen, because I love the Ant-Man movies, but like I wasn't so inclined to go like, yeah, I'm gonna go watch Ant-Man at the end of the year. I was like, cool, I get another Marvel movie. But that was the one part that I was like, okay, I have to go see this movie, because I need to go see how that plays out in the theater. I loved it. As far as more on the comedy goes, Michael Pena is still amazing. Like, there isn't like, already saying like this is kind of a spoiler like review already, but like the way his story plays out is just so awesome. Like, where it's a really like, it seems like it's a really intense scene where it's just like they're giving him the truth saying we're gonna get to Scott, and then he's like, and you hear the and then he's like yeah, so my boy Scotty, we meet at the, and he's got the Jerry curls, dude, so awesome. And then the way Paul Rudd, the way Evangeline Lilly, the way everybody mimics the way his head moves and like his voice and everything, perfect, just like in the first one, but they did it again, and it was so funny. I think another thing that I feel like didn't work, and are especially definitely for both of the Ant-Man movies, is I think that the villains could be way better. The actors are amazing actors, but I feel like they have way more potential. I think I would love to see Ghost in particular come back, maybe as more of an anti-hero, because I would say this, her origin was, I think, a little bit tacked on, but I will say this, the character itself interests me enough, but I will also say that I wasn't particularly impressed, because mainly if you're going off of especially a bunch of villains throughout the past phase 3 with Vulture as Michael Keaton, with Hela, Cate Blanchett, Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger, Josh Brolin as Thanos, those are very high bars that are just getting higher and higher and higher. So I think I'm not blaming it to the actors, I'm not blaming it. I think for me, I was trying to hopefully for a better villain, or at least a better villain that's up to the regular tiers, but like it's the same Marvel villain like problem, but it's okay because they're obviously about the heroes. Now, what I really love about this movie is that yes, we get Ant-Man, but I love the integration of the Wasp, because I think that obviously that is something that was needed and was core to this movie because her name is in the title, and I think that I love that her character and her arc was so essential to this movie, and that it was so pivotal that you really throughout a lot of this movie, Scott really takes a back seat to his entire movie in a lot of ways, because it is in a way his movie. You still have a lot of things around him tying him down, but you also see that they're both basically sharing this movie, which is awesome, because that's what I really wanted. Was you have Scott dealing with being on house arrest and having to deal with Cassie, but you also have Janet and Hank still, without even knowing it. Why are you calling her Janet? They're both the Wasp. Okay, give me a break. But you have Hope and Hank trying to get back Janet, and that's a whole big emotional arc. And I think Michelle Pfeiffer, for how much she was in this movie, great, awesome, loved it. I really want to see more of her, because I really don't hope that everyone who got dusted is going to get brought back as well, because Janet Van Dyne is an awesome character, and I want to see more flashbacks of really them in the actual original Ant-Man and the Wasp. I really want to see that again. But I think that is it for me. Like I said, I really like all the Ant-Man movies. I feel like this one is very much, in a way, way more rewatchable than the first one. But I think, for me personally, I think this one has a lot of emotional weight. But I feel like I like the father-daughter dynamic in the first one just a little bit more, and I feel like it edges that out in a little bit more perspective. I think these movies, they balance each other out, and I really do think that if I had to rank it and I had to put in my ranking, I think I would just put it, just because of rewatchability, I think I put it just above Ant-Man for me. So if you go back to my ranking, I don't even remember how I ranked them, to be honest, because like that was a while ago, but I think I had Ant-Man at the lower tier, and I think I would probably put Wasp right there. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.